Welcome into the Wolfman Gardening Channel. Today, we're putting together a 6 foot by 8 foot by 6.5 inch greenhouse. Yeah, and we're supposed to have some storms roll in 2 days with high winds and possible tornadoes. So we're going to do the smart thing and try to put this thing up. We're going to see if this thing will actually hold. And if it doesn't, then we'll know. We're going to anchor it down. We're going to see about getting all the anchors. We're going to put everything, and I'll show you everything that we put into it, and we'll see if it survives this storm. Now, I'm going to put all my plants in there for 2 days, but I'm probably going to take most of them out and see if it weathers the storm. That way I don't go out there after the storm just to see all of my tomato plants demolished. So, let's get to it. All right, everybody, here's what we bought. Organic Growers Greenhouse. It was $97 before tax at Atwood's. Now we're gonna unbox this thing and we'll see exactly how stout it is, and I'll give you my best review I can on this thing. All right, now all these screws here and wing nuts all come in the same bag, but if you'll notice, the bag has 3 different part numbers. 50 pieces being the 7,000, that is the wing nuts. Then there's 14 pieces and 36 pieces, so you'd think these screws would be a major difference, which they're not. You'll notice the difference in length. So I really wish they would have put these in a different bag, and I wouldn't have spent 15 minutes putting them side by side to find out which ones were the long ones and which ones were the short ones. But we ended up with 14 of the 10115 and 36 pieces of the 03032s. All right, first thing we're going to do here is we are going to lay out the center line, or the top of the greenhouse. And all these posts are marked and labeled. I've already separated most of them out. That way I know which pipes go in which direction. So once you put these end caps on, you're just going to run your bolt through there and just hold it in place. You don't want to over tighten it right now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our side panel. This will be either the left or the right side, depending on which way your greenhouse is going to face. And then we're going to put the end cap, which this is the ones that this is the section that will turn down to make the sides. We'll do that on all sides over here. And remember, right now we're not putting any bolts in. We're just putting the pipes and lining the pipes up and getting all 4 pipes sitting in there. And like I said, most of these or all these pipes have been labeled, and they all have numbers on them and they match. So you'll just want to try to lay all these out, and it'll make it a little bit easier on you. That way you're not looking through each one of the pipes, and it'll save a little bit of time if you sort all this out. Now once we get this part done, now we're going to come back in and we're going to line these up. There's little holes on each side, and once you slide the pipe in, you just match the holes up, and you're going to run these bolts through there. Now I do want to show you right here, you do want to make sure that the wing nuts that you use, all of them are going to be facing towards the inside, because otherwise if you face them to the outside and you go to pull your top over, it's going to rip a hole in it. So you want to make sure that the flush heads are going to be on the outside. Now we're going to lay out the other side, get the downspouts here, and get those put on. We're not bolting them in yet. We're just going to get them lined up and put in. Once we do that, then we'll come back in and we're going to make sure that we bolt all these in. Now remember, when you're putting these bolts in, you just want to put the bolts through there and you want to put the wing nut on, but you don't want to tighten it down, because if you tighten them down, then when you try to line up your next hole on the other side, you may have to move it around a little bit. Now these bolts will have a little bit of play in them, and they have a little bit of play on them, so you can, just in case the holes are a little off, that you can still get this thing to line up. So that's kind of the purpose in it. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay out the side panels, or the side post here. Should have 4 side posts, and this is going to be at the top of your wall. Once you get those laid out, you're going to, I started right here in the middle. I thought it would be a little easier, that way I can push the outer pieces out a little bit. You'll notice this one right here, I was struggling with it just a little bit, and that's because when they pre-drill these holes, sometimes it'll leave a burr on it, and it's really hard to get past that burr. So I had to go get a rubber mallet, and I'd use a rubber mallet. I wouldn't advise using a metal mallet. So just because if you use a metal mallet, you could take a chance on damaging the end of the pipe, and then it really isn't going to fit. So once you get all these, before I bolt anything together, I want to make sure that all these pieces go in and I get all the holes lined up. Once I get everything lined up, then I'm going to come back through and put the bolts in. All right, now it comes to building the walls, and these are the legs. There should be 6 legs. You have 2 different size pipes, and you'll connect them together. You're going to put 1 bolt through this, and this is part of the smaller bolts that you're going to have. And I put these together, and I went ahead and tightened this wing nut on those pretty tight, because these aren't going to go anywhere. You don't have to line anything else up. And then I put the feet on. These feet were fairly easy to put on, but they do have a bolt that goes through there. And if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the longer bolts on this one. So there'll be 1 short, 1 long. It'll show in the directions. And one thing I want to show here is make sure that both wing nuts are on the same side. And that is because if you put one on one side and one on the other, then one of them is going to be rubbing the outside of your tarp. Now then, once you put all 6 of these posts and stand it up, and this is the way it looks right here. Now then, what you want to do is we want to square this thing up. And when we square it, you want to measure from corner to corner on both sides, and it should be the exact same. Then you know it's square. You want to screw this eye bolt into the ground, put it on the inside corner of all 4 outside of these corners here, once you have it square. And this is what's going to help hold and anchor this down. Once everything is square and all your anchors are screwed in, then you're going to take this pipe right here, I've got it labeled, and you're going to slide it inside this little tarp, and you're going to use these 2 brackets, which are double brackets, and you'll put your bolt in there, and that's what holds it to your upright legs. Then you'll take this cable and you'll wrap and use this cable, and all this stuff comes with the kit, and you'll tie that and anchor it down. Now this one here is in the middle. Same way, 2-piece thing, put both your pipes in there, tighten them down, and they hold. All right. Now let's take a look at the finished product. I got all my tomatoes brought out today. And what we did here, these 2 tall shelves here, I bought those at Walmart, and they just snap together. I bought them, and I believe they were 40 bucks a piece, 39 bucks a piece. So spent a little more than I wanted to on them. Now these shelves here, I had that shelf there, which is a 4-tier shelf, and I only put 3 tiers on. And this one here is a 3-tier shelf, and I only put 3 of them on. Then I used the extra 2 shelves and legs and just made me another shelf here. So out of these, I ended up getting, I've got, this whole thing is completely full now with shelves. And I paid for the small ones, I paid, I don't remember, I want to say maybe 30 bucks a piece for them. I can't remember. But I think it was 30 bucks a piece for them. So far, we got 80 and 60, what is that? 120, 140? I don't know, I'm bad with math. Anyway, like 140 on that, and $100 on this here. And so we got us a greenhouse and fully stocked with shelves for about 240 bucks. A little more than I should have spent, really. And I bought these little stakes here and just kind of tied them down. That does come with stakes like this that you can screw down into the ground, and that cable comes with this kit. And all in all, the kit is really not that bad, but we'll just see. All right, well, there you have it. We've got our greenhouse up. We got a storm rolling in tomorrow, possible tornadoes. Let's see if this dang thing will hold up, or whether or not we're going to have to redo this whole thing. So first thing tomorrow morning, first thing is first. We're taking all of our tomatoes out of the greenhouse just in case this thing doesn't hold up. I'll leave in the comments of this video of whether or not this thing actually held up in this storm tomorrow with these 50 to 70 mile an hour winds, and we'll see whether or not this thing held up. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't much on gardening, but we have some more gardening videos coming out probably in the next day or two. We're definitely going to be separating our cucumbers out and putting them in their own individual pots. Like, comment, share this video. Think about subscribing to the channel. And I want to thank everybody that has subscribed to the channel, because you really, really help me out. And like always, keep it growing.